Good morning. My name is Zach Laster. I work with Assured Partners. We are an independent agency. So we essentially represent numerous carriers. And we do take your policies out to market each year. At this time, y'all currently have 10 total property and casualty policies, property insurance liability related coverages. The biggest portion of that is going to be your property insurance, and that's simply due to the location. It's really wind, hail prone. There are some items that we are working on in terms of adjusting deductibles on that property insurance to get the premiums down. Still kind of working through that with the board and as well as the carrier. The goal is to essentially lower that property insurance by about $25,000, so that's always a good thing. Another aspect to it is just risk mitigation, which I know that y'all are essentially taking steps to avoid just simple issues, right? It is a sue-happy world that we do live in. So, overall, the premium did jump about $11,000 from last year. There's a variety of reasons for that. But again, one of our goals is to address some of the property insurance deductibles to decrease that overall premium.
Sounds better when you say 3%.
So yeah, it's the 3%, not $11,000. So I think he's going to be available to join us in executive session so that we can talk, because some of that stuff is things that we can't really go into in open session.
Can we talk how much it's going to cost us?
Yeah, the total premium is $288,939. 152 of that is from the property alone, so that is the majority of it. When you look at the liability aspect, this is not your typical homeowners association. Obviously, you have essentially when you have fun things, the insurance companies charge for that. So
no fun for us.
No fun. It's a quite unique homeowners association in terms of all the activities that are offered. Typically it's hard enough to get a homeowners association insured when they have a big nice pool and a cool slide. So y'all's is just a whole nother type of risk when we approach the underwriters. Now again, we paint the picture of the steps being taken in terms of risk mitigation to the carriers. That is our goal. I sell Fort Clark to the insurance company, and I try to sell the insurance to y'all.
Again, that's $288,000.
Correct. Last year was $277.
The increase is just an annual increase, or we did something wrong again?
We did something wrong.
There are some issues in it.
Yeah, which we'll discuss.
And we can't discuss.
Yeah, we'll discuss in a while.
But again, majority of that is property driven.
Right. And so since we're going to hear from you in executive session, we'll wait to vote on this agenda item until when we come out of executive session. So thank you for sticking around. I appreciate it.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Okay. So we have to also appoint an election committee in September. And so we will start, we have some volunteers already. Sandy Hagan has volunteered to be the chairperson. We also have Constance Kilgore, Francis Bitter, and Barbara McFadden. I think all have served on this committee in the past. So do we have a motion? Or,
I make a motion.
Okay.
Questions?
do we have any questions? It's pretty
You still
straightforward.
willing to serve?
Yes, are you still, the people that I just named, are you still willing to serve?
Francis,
Okay,
are
good.
coming back again?
I make a motion.
So we need a motion to appoint the 4 named people. So moved. Okay,
Second.
second. All in favor? Welcome to the show. Good luck.
You want me to come on?
Let's double check. Yeah.
Does she know that?
What?
you're on the hook as well. So the secretary's role is to be the liaison to the election committee. Okay, so we had a minor oversight in our agenda here. I did not add, totally my fault, I did not add the fourth item, which is probably the most important item, but it is always done in September, the budget. We did, as I stated earlier, review the budget with Mr. Peterson on Wednesday and Tuesday, and we've gone through it extensively. Are there any questions from the board? And then I'll go into a brief explanation to the membership over kind of what we see. And I went through a little bit of it earlier, but I can go more in depth if we need to. No questions from the board?
I might have one after.
Go ahead.
I might have one after you.
Okay. So the budget is broken down into categories such as admin, golf, maintenance, motel, housekeeping. There's also, as far as our commercial areas, we've got the real estate group, the recreation, swim park, teen center, RV, and security is another area that we budget for. So we've walked through, and as you can see, this is a long document that goes through, and this will be available to be reviewed as it was last year by anyone who will make a request to the office, and we will have that information will go out to the membership to be able to make that request. Mr. Peterson, do you want to give us some highlights on your budget?
It does reflect the 5% increase for all the salary. Otherwise, everybody, the employee staffing is exactly the same as last year. There are no additional employees added except for staffing the teen center or the fitness center. That's the only addition. The motel revenue is it's not a best case scenario. I do not think there's any way we can match what we did this year because I don't think we're going to have the influx with the DPS officers. But because of some of the remodeling and some of the things that are going on in the area, it is higher than what it has been in the past. So I think we're going to have a good steady stream in revenue in the motel. Same way with the RV park seems to be picking up a little bit better than it did last year. I'm not going to do what ifs, but there are a lot of things that are in the pipeline that may give us some more revenue, but we can't bank on that.
Nope.
So I give a realistic budget as far as the revenue coming in. The expenses are all based on 6 years worth of history of expenses here, as best as I could document. The first 4 years are sort of hit or miss in our accounting system and trying to figure out what was going where. But we do have about 2 years worth of history that we can look at. We've been extremely, and if you look at our revenue in the last 3 years, 3 years ago, right before I came here, we had a very big influx of revenue with the pipeliners staying here. Although it changed our demographics as far as our what stays here, it did provide us about an extra $100,000 of revenue. The next year with COVID, didn't really affect our revenue too much, but we did get revenue from a PPP loan for about $195,000. Now the next year, which is this year and last year, we were, everybody says we were hit by the illegals, yes, but it basically has provided an extra $230,000 of revenue to the fort that was not here before. I don't think that's going to hold up over a long period of time, but we will get some out of it. So for the last 3 years, we've had extenuating circumstances that has helped the fort out revenue-wise. It's not something you can bank on. So we have to go ahead and make okay, we're going to get some. We've made some improvements. The drought had a little bit, affected this last summer also. But it's a realistic budget. I'm not going to be overly optimistic, but if we get some positive things, we could have a good year.
So, and this has a net operating income of $51,000, and that does include that capital budget that I mentioned earlier of $136,000. So we're moving in the right direction.
The one thing it does not have is any marketing dollars in there. And that's something we may want to discuss on our avenue we go there. But whatever marketing dollars in there will more than likely have a payback that will pay for itself.
Yes, hopefully, generally. We
That's
like
the idea.
marketing
That's the
dollars
idea.
to bring more
That's
dollars
the
in.
idea.
Right.
So,
Any questions?
Did you say it's 5%, sorry, it's 5% across
across the board,
salaried and hourly?
right. Well, 2 of the salary people were already promoted, so they will not get the total 5%. That's it.
The employee salary is the only place where we have flexibility to either go up or down, correct?
You have flexibilities to go up and down anywhere in that budget. I mean, other than the fact that you have contracts that you have to pay, and you have to pay your electrical, you have to pay your water.
I'm just talking about the salary increase.
Yeah,
Okay. That's the only cushion we have. That's the only extra income we have that we can make an adjustment on.
I'm gonna
I don't
stand
even
up
know
and
what
say
you're
that
asking.
I think, I don't know exactly where you're going, but I'm gonna go ahead and step out and say, if we don't put raises of 5% to our membership, I've talked about this in the past, and I'll talk about it, it's not our membership, our employees. I've talked about this in the past. It was pretty disappointing when I went to the MUD meeting, and they sit on our property. And when they were doing their survey of what their competition was, they didn't even name us as far as employee benefits or compensation. That's sad. So if we don't consider it at least 5% for our employees, we will have no employees. We lose them regularly.
So we lose them mostly in maintenance, is that correct?
no.
No.
I've
We've lost-
30% of my staff at the front desk because they got other jobs.
May I say something? You know, when we were just talking about insurance and we talked about how many employees are using the insurance, and see if I've got this number correct. A very large number of our employees are on Medicaid, which is for very low income people. That's what they qualify on what we pay them now. And so I think we have to take that into consideration about how lowly paid they are.
And the fact that we got a great employee and it's doing wonderfully and we're all excited, and then 6 months later they leave because somebody offered them more money.
Right. I think at minimum it has to be 5%, and that's what's been budgeted. I don't think, last year we added the life insurance piece. This year we've been able to add some services that would not be paid on their health insurance. We're moving in the right direction. I wish we could move faster, but to have employees that qualify for Medicaid, that's a whole nother ballgame when you start thinking about that and wrapping your mind around that. But like I said, I was very disappointed to have to sit in the MUD meeting and listen to them talk about, oh, well, here's what Rio Grande does, and here's what the city does, and here's what the county does. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, did you evaluate us? No. Didn't even rank. Any further questions or comments?
I understand, I want to pay the employees as much as we possibly can. I do know maintenance, you do lose them more than, my only thought was a more targeted 3% across the board and maybe 5% for the maintenance department. Just a thought for discussion.
How much money are we talking about for that suggestion?
I didn't put that in there, I'm sorry.
It's all right. Just curious. Does it make a difference?
Do you have the total salary?
Yeah, I mean, you can do it from the total salary, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I see the maintenance people here every day because I run around the board just to have something to do. I would be really upset if we cannot give them at least 5%. That's just my opinion. I don't see the board giving them something less than that.
That wasn't my
Thank you.
recommendation, that wasn't my,
I'm not taking offense to that at all.
oh, okay.
Just a general question, and you allowed me to make a comment.
Thank you.
I have given merit increases to 2 of our maintenance personnel in the last 2 months because we did not want to lose them. So, and we've set it up as if they will go ahead and get the kind of training that I'm asking them to do, then I'll give incentive raises for getting the proper driver's license, getting the proper training for the landfill. And that will be something that will set up with all of our employees when they get trained to the next level, that they'll get a raise for that. But this is just a straight, I mean, usually in most places you have 3 tiers of maintenance. We've never had that. Ours are pretty much all unskilled labor. But we want to invest in trying to get them skilled, especially in the landfill. We've got a few people that can help us train people in some basically light electrical plumbing duties that they can do that. Once we get there, then they will get incentives anyway. This is just a straight line item sort of entry level increase.
So here's the quick math, just backing into it off of what's in the budget. It's a total of $57,000 for the year. The monthly expense will be $4,738 a month to increase 5%. That comes out with a 1,700 person membership. That comes to $2.78 per person per month. Let's get it done. Yes.
I just have a comment that the proposed increase for like government employees is 4.6% for this year, if it gets passed by both houses of Congress. So, I mean, to me, 5% doesn't seem.
Thank you for adding that. That's good. That's good intel. Any other comments from the membership? Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to remind everyone that the CPI index increased 9.1% over the last period. And this is a 5% increase. So everybody is still playing catch up to the cost of living. And secondly, for decades, we've treated our employees as though they were expendable and we could do without them. That's simply not the case. They should be a high priority item for us because happy employees do a better job every day.
Absolutely, I agree.
Thank you. So I heard 7%.
Let-
Just had to cut the meeting.
Let me make it clear. Part of the reason for my questions is because I think we need to have the conversation. And if we just sit up here and say, yep, 5%, let's do it. The membership needs to see that it's been thought out, it's been discussed. It's not that I don't think our employees don't deserve it, but we need to have the discussion and the input.
Thank you.
So would the 5% be a cap? I mean, or is that just sort of the cost of living adjustment and then there's still additional room for merit raises throughout the year?
There's always additional.
Yeah, there's always room for additional. Yeah. Especially when they complete the training and do items that add value back to both their skill set, but also the skill set of the work.
And what the 5% is sort of an overall number or whatever payroll is going to go up. When I give my managers, when they do their reviews, if there's somebody that is not meeting the requirements they need to get, they may only get 1%. Somebody that is exceptional may get 6, 7%, and we do it that way. Somebody that I have to match and I know is gonna leave, yeah, there's gonna be an adjustment there, because there are certain people that we wanna work with, so,
So part of it is performance-based.
yes.
And that being the case, 3% wouldn't give you the more leeway?
I have no idea what that means.
If the pay raise is at 3%, that would give you more leeway for incentive pay and other things for multiple employees.
Not really. I mean, 5% is what I'm budgeting.
Thank you.
Does that get us in the realm that we should be to compete with?
Not really.
No, we're missing on benefits packages, retirement,
We cannot compete with the city or the county. It's not gonna, or especially the railroad or Rio Grande. Not in our
Nobody can
numbers.
compete with the railroad.
But we can give a decent place to work with, a good working environment, people they wanna work with, and have them, and we have a good loyal group that enjoy working here.
Sherry does a great job with appreciation lunches.
Yeah, we do some good things, we just have a long way to go.
and we're still developing that package as well. I mean, the more that we put into this place and the more we're able to, add to the membership, that's ways that we can compensate employees too. So there are benefits that we can add as we go along. So it's not a total, we're not totally out, but like I said, we've got a long ways to go. So we got to get there. Okay, so do I have a motion to?
One more
Go ahead.
question I forgot to ask. Not about employees. The annual meeting and lunch, is the lunch budgeted for the annual meeting?
We haven't had a lunch.
Well, we haven't had a lunch because of COVID. Last year, we were supposed to have a lunch, but it didn't get in the budget.
No, nobody said they wanted to do a lunch.
Well, I know, you were not informed on the fact that we normally do a lunch.
Yeah, that sort of helps.
So, can
I
we
would
put
say
it
if
in
we're
this
gonna do a
budget?
lunch, it's gonna be done by donations, and we'll do it that way.
Yeah, we'll also get that done.
It's a, I don't know what you want to call it, it's a tradition, it's an appreciation to the membership.
Didn't we do cookies and berries and fruit and
Yeah,
stuff?
it was pretty minimal.
Yes.
Well, it's better than nothing. We do have a lot of expense.
I used to do an open bar.
Not all right.
Okay, we can do that. I just think it's been a rough year, it's been a rough year for employees, it's been a rough year for members. I think we need to make sure that we
I
let the
agree.
membership know that we appreciate them.
I'd love to budget for that. It's very easy to do when you have a restaurant. We just decided to cater to what's gonna cost, what they wanna do.
We can get that done. So.
Sir,
Yes.
I'm a renter, and I have a question. I'm sorry if it's inappropriate, just let me know.
Okay.
But I have received a proxy from my landlord, and I didn't know if it needs to be on the agenda, if the executive, when you go into the executive meeting, if you could address that. I don't know what that means, because I did Dr. Google, and it seems like HOAs kind of make their own rules as far as what a proxy is. It's not, and I would just like to know where I stand, what I can do, and what I can't do.
Yes, and thank you for posing that question, because it's a question that many, many people have. And unfortunately, the way that I read the documents today, which is in the declaration, that when we were originally set up, proxies were not allowed. So there was, for voting. Now, what that means beyond that, it also doesn't allow for electronic voting. So there was a lot of good things put in there, and then there were some things that weren't considered going forward. So now that you've posed the question, it's something that's been on the list of we need to get to and talk to our council as far as to figure out like what all that provides. And then we need to have some discussions around like how we're going to manage that. That's the main piece of it, is managing the proxy. It's not necessarily like, oh, we don't want to have proxies. It's how do we manage that proxy? So, yes.
My question was committees.
Mhm.
You know, if I could be on the
If you
committee.
could sit on.
Yes,
Okay.
you can. Committees do not have to, what's that?
Yeah, just architectural would probably be the only one that, but let me take that as a research item, and
Sir.
we'll have an answer for you.
And I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Wanda, did the owner that you work for tell you why she was giving you a proxy?
Well, they live in California.
Right, but what do they want you to do with it?
I think they wanted me to vote, but I don't know, really. I think, did you receive a letter in?
I did. I received an email and she said to bring back information, you know, from the meetings and stuff. So you can report back to them on what is happening.
Oh, okay, okay.
I
Well,
can give you a copy
whatever
of that.
y'all decide is, you know.
Well, it's a question that's been coming, and so now that you've brought it to the forefront, we'll look into it and get you an answer.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do we have a motion?
Make a motion that we accept the budget that as presented by Mr. Peterson.
A second.
All in favor of approving the budget as presented? All opposed? Motion passes. Okay, announcements. October 1st will be the grand opening of the fitness center. There will be food booths and vendors. October 28th and 29th will be ghostly tours. November 11th and 12th will be fall festival. Any other announcements from the crowd before we adjourn? No? Okay, we will do a motion to adjourn to executive session.
Make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Thank you. All right, 10:26, we'll adjourn into executive session. Thank you all for coming. It's good to see the crowd getting bigger and bigger as we go. We really appreciate it.
Election committee, back here, please.
Okay, great.
How long have you been?